Product reviews all day here, folks, and it's been a minute since I posted up something new. And what do we have here? What do we have here, boys and girls? I was just sitting here watching Law Abiding Citizen, one of the most epic movies ever made. And I was playing with my Spyderco Manix 2XL Crucarta, and I thought, why don't we post a little review on here? Why don't we post a little review of CPM Cruwear brown canvas micarta handle, insane jimping all the way around that handle and that blade, Golden Crown, Colorado, USA Earth, ball bearing lock, CPM Cruwear, 4-inch blade, 5-inch handle, 9-inch overall length. This knife is an absolute cream dream. It is a cream dream. You will go to bed at night, you will have a dream, you will cream in your little panties because the Spyderco Manix 2 XL Crucarta, that's what they call this combination right here. When you have the CPM Cruwear with the brown canvas micarta, that's called Crucarta. You can already see the way that that brown canvas micarta has started to accept. Yeah, that's right. It started to accept the oils from my hand, and it started to patina, and it started to change colors. That spider is so iconic. It's so fucking iconic. Spyderco CPM Cruwear, ball bearing lock. Trademark round hole. This knife, look how thin it is. I have a lot of premium knives. I have a SOG Seal XR folder. It's about, I'd say, twice the thickness of this. I have a SOG Kiku, which is also thicker than this. One thing that Spyderco does well is they make their knives nice and thin and streamlined. Look at that big chunk of steel right there. Look at that big chunk of stainless steel for that backliner. Honestly, I'm a huge fan of Spyderco. I own an Endura, I own a Delica, and now I own the Manix 2XL Crucarta. And for a while in the early 2000s, when liner locks first became a thing, I owned the Spyderco Military, the original Spyderco Military. And the liner lock on the original Spyderco Military was a joke. That was when liner locks kind of first became popular, and the angle on the tang of the blade when the liner lock would kick over, it wasn't solid. There was an absolute ton of blade play, and that blade would rock up and down on that shitty early 2000s when nobody knew how to make a liner lock yet. And it kind of churned me off of Spydercos for a while, to be honest. I understand now they have the compression lock, but the early 2000s was honestly a shitty time for liner locks, because I owned the Spyderco Military. Liner lock was shit. I owned a Benchmade Emerson CQ7. The liner lock was shit. You know, they hadn't quite perfected yet how to... They didn't have these full flush liners. You can see the way that the liners on this thing, they're completely flush with the handle. When they first started introducing liner locks in the early 2000s, it was a handle, and then it was like a shitty piece of steel on the inside, and then a little fucking thin piece of steel that came over and locked the blade, and it was shit. It didn't lock it worth shit. The blade had tons of wiggle on it. It was trash. And honestly, after being a huge Spyderco fan and owning the original Endura that I bought from the Cutlery, remember that old knife shop back in the days, the Cutlery? Doesn't even exist anymore. And I bought my Endura when I was 21 years old, and I would fucking take pennies and I would put a penny in the fucking thing, and I would fucking cut pennies in half with my Endura. And then I pick up a fucking Military, which is supposed to be a premium knife, and it cost me like over $100, and that was back in the year 2000. And the liner lock was shit. Yeah, that put me off on Spydercos for a while. But now I understand that that was a transition. That was a transition in knife making, and I understand that the liner locks are a lot better now. And I know that Spyderco has moved on to the compression lock with their paras and their militaries and their paramilitaries. But I'm still not a fan of compression locks or liner locks. I like axis locks. I like XR locks by SOG. I like the ball bearing lock by Spyderco. I still think the liner lock is the shittiest lock made. That's just my opinion. I just don't like, and I'm a lefty too, so when a lefty holds a liner lock, it has the potential to squeeze it over and disengage it. I just don't like liner locks. I've just never been a fan. I'd rather have a ball bearing lock, an XR lock, an axis lock, a crossbar lock, as I think Kershaw calls it, the crossbar lock, the deadlock. You know, all these other names for the lock. I prefer this because it seats beautifully. This little ball bearing in here, it goes forward when the blade goes into position, and it locks that thing like a fucking Abrams tank. I've never liked liner locks. I'd prefer a frame lock over a liner lock any day of the week. And the reason for that is because Spyderco, with the original military, and Benchmade with the CQ7 Emerson, put me off on liner locks for many years. But now, when I hold this thing in my hand, when I hold that brown canvas micarta, that CPM Cruwear blade, that Crucarta, Spyderco has redeemed itself. It has redeemed itself. And I have a post on here. I have a video for the Delica made in Seiki City, Japan with the backlock. And that Delica is an absolute cream dream. And I have an original Endura. And now I have a Spyderco Manix 2 XL Crucarta. And honestly, this knife makes my little fucking weenie hard. It is so goddamn sexual. This knife is everything that you could ever want in a knife. It's thin. You can see how thin that knife is. Look at the profile on that knife. It's thin as shit. You have a Micarta handle. You have a CPM Cruwear blade. You have a ball bearing lock. This knife ticks all the boxes and then some. And I will say that since Spyderco finally figured out their shitty liner lock system and changed it to the compression lock and added the ball bearing lock, and they have the native, and they have the para, and they have the military, the paramilitary, and they have the Yojimbo, and Spyderco has really stepped up their game since the early 2000s. And I realize that Spyderco is a quality knife. I'm not saying they're not quality knives. They've always been quality knives. But there was a time when Spyderco had an absolutely shit trash liner lock, and it turned me off from their knives for a while. But now they've brought me back. They've brought me back into the fold. Brown canvas micarta that's already started to take on the patina from my skin. Usual typical Spyderco pocket clip. Ball bearing lock, which I fucking absolutely love. Absolutely beastly 4-inch blade, 5-inch handle, overall 9-inch length. Crucarta, CPM Cruwear, one of the toughest tool steels you'll ever find on this planet. And I'm back, baby. I'm back in the New York groove, just like Ace Frehley said on the Kiss album. All of the Kiss members, they had their own album. Gene had an album, Paul had an album, Peter had an album, Ace had an album. And one of the songs on Ace's album was, I'm back in the New York groove. Da 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 da, I'm back in the New York groove. And Spyderco has brought me back into their good graces with this fucking knife. Spyderco, Manix 2 XL, CPM Cruwear, brown canvas micarta, ball bearing lock. They call this the Crucarta. It's a cream dream. It will make your little fucking robot chubby full on hard. Product reviews all day. Like, subscribe, ring the bell. Hey.